Hello, how are you doing? And welcome back to the channel. My name is Audrey, and I make content about all things wellness. And today we are going to be talking about emotional eating. So, yeah, I'm just gonna make a poll now. Okay, the poll is: Are you an emotional eater? And I am going to start by defining what emotional eating is, how it can be good, and how it can be bad. So, with everything, I think, in life, there are good aspects to it and there are bad aspects to it. And the bad only comes when you overdo it or when it's uncontrolled. So I don't think there's anything wrong with emotional eating per se, but I think that when you overdo it, just like with everything else, then you might get bad results from it. So before I start, how's everyone going? Good morning, Christina. How are you doing? Thank you so much for joining the live, and thank you for answering the poll. Do you think that you are an emotional eater? And if you do you think it's a bad thing or a good thing? That is our discussion for today. I am just going to go to my notes. Hi, Poloko. Good morning. How are you doing? I saw your premiere, but I saw it late because I just woke up from a nap. And so I am going to definitely watch it after the live. So, yes, Puloko, we are discussing emotional eating as per your request. So, my question to you and Christina is: do you think you are emotional eaters? And if you do think you're emotional eaters, do you think that's a good or bad thing? And my answer to that is yes, I am an emotional eater. And for me, I don't think that emotional eating is bad. What I think is overly emotionally eating is bad. So that is what we are going to go into today. I'm cold and hungry. Don't worry, that premiere was unplanned. Okay, Poloko, thank you. I cold and hungry. Are you intermittent fasting? Because now would be 10 o'clock. I remember in your last vlog, you said you're going to try and go back into intermittent fasting, and it helped you lose weight, 2 kgs, if I'm not mistaken. So, are you continuing with that? And it's bad for me. Okay. All right, Poloko. Hi, Lisa. Good morning. How are you doing? Thank you so much for joining the live. Okay. Yeah. So I saw from the first 75 soft update that you said you lost 2 kgs, which is amazing. And one thing I've noticed about change in season, for me personally, I eat more and more often in winter than I do in summer. So now it's 11 now here, and I'm not feeling hungry. I am feeling really thirsty though. That's why I have a bottle of water beside me. But in winter, by now I would have had breakfast because yeah, I feel hungry earlier in winter. So I think it's harder to control your eating in winter than it is in summer. And that is also very emotional. So that is a good segue into our topic. So, Lisa, the question is: are you an emotional eater? And do you think it's a good thing or a bad thing? That is the question. So let's start with what is emotional eating. With a lot of people, we eat when we are stressed, when we are happy, when we want to celebrate something, when we are overwhelmed. This is something that I do most of the time. When I'm feeling overwhelmed, I don't want to eat cooked food. I want to eat a burger or pizza or something that is just not from my kitchen. So that is one time in which I emotionally eat. Another time is when I'm celebrating something. I always turn to food when I'm celebrating something. So if I finish a challenge, I am going to turn to a specific food that I wasn't eating during that time. If I land a job, or if I get good news, maybe for YouTube or whatever, for me, my celebration is always food related, because my understanding of food is that it's pleasurable, which it is. And I think also how I grew up plays a huge role in the type of emotional eating that I go through. So Christina says, yes, I am an emotional eater depending on the day. If I'm lonely, stressed, it depends on the type of food I crave. Yes, exactly. I think that all of us have an aspect of emotional eating. So with me specifically, uh, my patterns for emotional eating started from how I grew up. So, hi Lungi, Mangwanani, how are you doing today? Good morning to me. Thank you so much for joining the live. Guys, we are discussing emotional eating. We are asking the question, are you an emotional eater, and do you think it is good, or do you think it's bad? Lisa said, I eat when I'm stressed. When I'm happy, I don't feel like eating. Oh, interesting. That's an interesting take. Good morning, Alice. How are you doing today? Thank you so much for joining the live. When I'm happy, I like to take chill drinks. Okay, that's nice. Morning, Dre. I'm in the background, darling. Thank you so much for joining the live. To me, I why this topic especially today? Alice, is there something you want to tell us? Is there something that you want to tell us? But this was a topic that was requested by Puluko yesterday, so that is why we are discussing it today, Alice. To me and Lungi and Alice, greetings there from Christina. Lungi said, I voted no, but I should have said yes. Denial. So the first thing that I said, guys, is that emotional eating is not bad. Anything that you do is not bad. It's when you get to the extreme that makes it bad. So if you occasionally emotionally eat, it's not going to affect you. Just like if you eat healthy 6 days of the week, and then on Saturday or on Sunday you decide that you want to binge eat all your sweets and your salty food depending on what you crave, it's actually not going to affect your body, because your body can only take a few things. It's not going to digest everything, right, in one day. So it's the same thing with emotional eating. If this is something that happens sporadically and it's not something that happens frequently, then it's nothing to worry about. But what we are going to speak about today is when it happens continuously and what triggers your emotional eating and how we can switch from that. So it's gonna be a deep discussion today, guys. Get ready, get ready. So I will start with my example of emotional eating. When I was growing up, most of the food that we ate in the house was cooked food, whole foods. Like I mentioned before, we had a garden. In the village, there was a farm. So in terms of grains, like all our sadza or our pap, that was from our own grain. So all we needed to do is to take it to grind it into the powder. So when it came to pop, we never bought that. When it came to peanuts, we never bought that. Sweet potatoes, what else? Vegetables like spinach and the like, other green leafy vegetables, onions and tomatoes, sometimes strawberries, but the majority of the things that we could grow, we grew ourselves. Same thing with meat. We had cows and recently pigs, goats, chickens. So most of the food that we ate was readily available to us. So when we have that kind of food inside the house and we are a big family, there is little or no need for us to spend more to go and eat outside. But if someone was graduating, if it was someone's birthday, especially on birthdays, like my parents always went all out on birthdays. That's why even now, today, anytime it's my birthday or close to my birthday, I do something. And when I don't do something, I feel very sad because it's something that has been ingrained in me for a very long time. Hi, Sino. How are you doing today? Good morning. And we are talking about emotional eating today. So, all of the all of the normal food that you eat inside the house, right? We provided for ourselves. And so it was cheaper that way, right? And like I said, we were a big family. So because of that, eating out to me is always like a reward. And even now that I'm older, at my big age, when I go and eat out, it's like a reward for me. Okay, I've been eating healthy for all this time. How am I going to reward myself? I'm gonna go and get a donut. How am I going to go and reward myself? I'm gonna go and have that pasta from that restaurant or something like that. Or I've achieved something in one space in my life or the other. The first thing I lean to is food. Not the food that I cook, not the food that's in the house, but food from outside. So that is how my pattern was built. And I read this. Okay, yes, and Poloko said it's for me. It's any food, my Dre, takeaways or not. So, if you don't mind sharing, everyone, what is your go-to food? Christina said hers is sugary food, and she said it's usually when she's stressed out. Lisa said she eats when she is stressed out, but when she is happy, she goes for a cool drink. So if you don't mind sharing, where do you think your pattern of emotional eating started from, and what is your go-to reward or craving, or what is it that soothes you? Now, as people answer that, I'm going to start with the origins of that is my weakness, Lungi. Donuts, that is my weakness. And it's mostly because I can't make it myself. If I could make it myself, probably I would eat them so regularly that they would get out of my system. It's the same thing with magwinya. To me, magwinya, donuts, same category. If I could make them, probably they wouldn't be my go-to. But because I can't make them well, that's why they're always my go-to. So let's talk about in general, how do we associate eating and emotions? It is because that when we were younger and when we were children, whatever we were feeling, how we were soothed by our parents was through milk. So we were speaking about this yesterday with attachment styles, but in general, if you're feeling sleepy, you are probably going to be bottle fed or breastfed and you're going to fall asleep. So that confusion from feeling sleepy is going to go away through food. If you're feeling hungry, then you're going to be soothed through milk. So most of the things that we do in adulthood, again, is formed in our childhood. So this soothing aspect of food and this pleasurable aspect of food comes from these patterns that we develop as young people. Iyo mfana, guys, that's when my emotional eating started, and it happened way before I met my husband. I can relate to that. I can relate to that because yeah. Yeah. People can do that to you. People can do that to you. You will turn to food to soothe yourself. So I can definitely relate to that. I eat everything really as long as it's chewable. Okay, Lungi. And do you know where that came from? Sometimes I even eat, if it's not tasty, I'll eat. Really? That's interesting. That's very interesting. Okay, we'll deep dive into that because that's interesting for me. So, let's start by this. I think we have all established that we are emotional eaters, but in case you are not sure, these are some pointers of being an emotional eater. Do you eat more when you're feeling stressed? That is a tick from me. Do you eat when you're not hungry or when you're full? Not necessarily. I don't think so. Do you eat to feel better, to calm and soothe yourself when you're sad, mad, bored, or anxious, etc.? That is a tick from me. Do you reward yourself with food? That is another tick for me. Do you regularly eat until you've stuffed yourself? Not regularly, because now I'm more conscious with what I eat. I'm more intentional about my portion sizes and all of that. But maybe 4, 5, 6 years ago, that could have been the case. But from my last vlog, I also mentioned that I realized that eating to finish what's on my plate, yes, that is a trauma response to what my parents always used to say, or my aunts used to say, finish your food, finish your food. So it's something that I have, yeah, I'm still working on. The stuffing yourself. Does food make you feel safe? Do you feel like food is a friend? That is a tick from me. Do you feel powerless or out of control around food? Not anymore, but yeah, I used to. Me too, Lungstar. I eat everything, but if it's not tasty, then I won't. No, yeah. That's why I said I would love to deep into that, because if it's not tasty, I will not. Boredom. Yes, Lungi. I'm eating right now because I'm stressed. Oh, I'm sorry, Alice. I am sorry. I hope that whatever is stressing you is going to come to pass, and we will be singing joyously after this period. I am so sorry to hear that. Yes. Blackberry Lungi, sending you love there and being compassionate and empathetic with you. Mine is burger. Me too, Lisa. There is a specific burger and milkshake that I go to when I'm stressed or when I'm overwhelmed, or when I'm overworked. That there is a specific burger that I go to. Pologo said, I eat when I'm not hungry, when I'm full, when I'm bored, to soothe myself, when I'm sad, when I'm angry, and when I'm happy. Yeah. Same, Pologo, same. Sorry, Alice, there from Puluko. Yes, food is a reward. I also eat when I see my kids eat. I eat when I'm bored and when I see food. That's a good point, Lungi, because sometimes when I am watching other people eat, especially because I'm always on YouTube, that also triggers me to want to eat. But I don't know if that's emotional. I don't know. Maybe that's psychological. But yes, that also triggers me as well. But right now, I'm on day 2 of 75, so I'm not even hungry. I'm conscious of my intake. Well done, Lungi. Well done to you. Puluko said she's hungry, but because she's intermittent fasting, she is practicing self-control. Alice is sending hugs and love to the ladies. Thank you, Alice. But this too shall pass. Whatever it is you're going through, this too shall pass. Livingston, I'm so hungry. I know I ate yesterday at 6 p.m. Wow. But look, how many hours are you intermittent fasting? 6. I'm so bad at math in my head, but 6 to 6 is 12, right? 16, 8. Okay, all right. So I did calculate that right. So 12 plus 4. So what time are you breaking your fast? Are you doing intermittent? Yes, she is. Yes. I wouldn't call it emotional eating. I eat because my mind says you need to eat. It's more a mind thing. My word, even um my word, even I don't get what I'm saying. No, I get what you're saying. It's psychological. It's psychological. Just like what I said. If I'm watching something and I'm seeing people enjoying their food, it prompts me to want to eat even when I'm not hungry. So I get you. Okay, sorry, drink water, Puluko. You wear baby clothes soon, yes. Puluko, so when you're intermittent fasting, do you drink your clove water? Because I know green tea and black coffee, you can drink when you're intermittent fasting. Chef T, massive guy. Good morning. How are you? Thank you so much for joining the live. Since you're a chef, can you tell us if you're an emotional eater? Do you eat when you are stressed out in the kitchen? Do you eat when you're overwhelmed at work? Do you eat when you're feeling sad? That would be interesting to hear from a chef. Please give us your feedback. So, this is the emotional eating cycle. Pulugo said, let me soldier on for the baby clothes. I drink water and clove water only. Oh, okay. Yeah. Clove water makes me a little bit full for some minutes, maybe 30 minutes to an hour. So that really helps me a lot. Good morning, Dineo. Thank you so much for joining the live. How are you doing this morning? We are discussing emotional eating. Mama the boys, good morning. How are you doing? Thank you so much for joining. And we are discussing emotional eating. So do you guys think that you are emotional eaters? And if so, what is your go-to when you are feeling emotional? I'm well, thanks, and yourself? I'm doing well. I'm doing quite well. I did a lot of things this morning. So after this live, I'm going to be resting. So I'm very happy about that. Now, I don't like food, but I like to cook for people as I have my own restaurant. So your pleasure with food is when you see other people enjoying your food. Makes sense. It makes a lot of sense. Yes, I'm an emotional eater. Sometimes I sleep to forget. I have one problem, Mama the boys. If I am ever slightly so hungry, I cannot sleep. So I cannot forget. When I'm hungry and when I'm craving something, it's difficult for me to forget. I haven't had my clove water, and maybe that's why I'm hungry, because it helps me with my appetite. Yes, Puloko. So please grab your clove water. It's gonna help you so much. Thank you, Mama the boys. Thank you so much. Okay, so let's go into the emotional eating cycle. So the first thing that comes is your cue. Your cue is something happens that either saddens you, upsets you, you feel stressed, or you feel overwhelmed. That is the first thing that comes in the cycle. Chef T, when are you inviting us to come and eat at your restaurant? Good question. Thank you so much for that. We would love to come through. Hi, Koki. Good morning, Quinton. Thank you so much for joining the live. We are talking about emotional eating. So I was saying the first part of the cycle is the cue or your trigger. What triggers you to emotionally eat? With me, it's usually stress and being overwhelmed. I don't cook on those days. I need to just order out, or I'm happy, or I've achieved something. So those are my triggers. Or I'm feeling sad. You feel an overwhelming urge to eat. So the trigger has come, and then you feel this overwhelming urge to eat. Then you eat more than you should. So this is where the problem comes in. There's absolutely nothing wrong with eating the food that you love. And I always preach balance on my channel, because restricting things is going to lead to this third part, which is eating more than you should. If I'm going to eat a donut every day, instead of eating a big donut, I can opt to buy like the small donuts, and I can eat that every day. And because I've had 3 good meals, to me, a good meal is real food. So if my food is a 1 ingredient food, for example, if I'm having rice and chicken with soup or sauce or chakalaka, I know exactly the ingredients that I have put in my food. So for me, those are called 1 ingredient foods. And to me, that is the type of food I like to eat. When I am using something that other people have packaged, to me, that is a reward food. In my head, that's a reward food. So if I'm eating, there are these croissants here, and Lisa would know them. They're called 7 days. So it's like a croissant with chocolate or cherry or something like that. And it has a lot of preservatives, and it can last, like if I buy it now in my cupboard, I can eat it after a month. To me, that is not whole food to me. So my diet is real food and whole foods. So if I know exactly what's in my food and the spices that I use, then I am okay. So if I eat 3 meals a day of whole foods, things that I know, and then I eat 1 small donut at the end of the day, that's not going to affect my diet at all. But if I am starving and then I buy a pack of donuts, that's going to be 6 donuts. Like a pack of donuts here are 6, and they're like big donuts. And then I have 3 of them throughout the day, which I have done before. I have 3 of them today, and I have 3 of them tomorrow. I have overconsumed that. And by the third day, I'm going to be feeling really bad about myself. And that is the fourth part of the cycle, is that you feel guilty for eating or overeating. So like I said, emotional eating, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. We all look to food for comfort, because that is what it was for us when we were younger, when we were kids. Food comforted us. It's one of the great pleasures of life, food. And when you taste good food, it's a good pleasure for you, a healthy pleasure. But overconsumption is what becomes wrong in emotional eating. So let me catch up with the comments. And yes, I don't think I'm an emotional eater. I starve when I'm stressed or overwhelmed. Okay, that's interesting. I'm trying to think if we could call that emotional. Maybe you're emotionally not eating? Maybe? Hi, Q and Koki. Koketsu said, yes, I'm an emotional eater. I eat a lot, especially when I feel depressed. Yes, when you are feeling under the weather, definitely you will eat more. And one other thing, before I forget, is there is such a thing called SAD in psychology. And it is, I have to look it up. I don't know why I just forgot. It just came out of, it's called, okay, I remembered. It's called seasonal affective depression. So when you are in winter, because you are not seeing most of the sun, because the sun, well, when you wake up, there's no sun. And usually by the time you go to bed, there's no sun. And your exposure to the sun is less. You are going to experience what we call SAD. So it's called seasonal affective depression. So affective means emotional, seasonal emotional depression. You're not really depressed, but because you don't have a lot of light exposure, your body is going to tell you that you're feeling sad or you're feeling depressed. And that is why most people eat more in winter, because you need more food to soothe you. Same thing happens with me, and that's why we have these hearty meals in winter. We have the stews, we have the dumplings, we have a lot of baked goods in winter as well. You want to have that with your tea and your coffee because it's comforting. So if you're feeling, especially in this season, if you're feeling low, if you're feeling depressed, if you're feeling sad, if your general mood is sad, it's natural. How you can help yourself is, if you can, and if they are in season, buy a lot of citrus. So your lemons, if you're gonna have tea, have your tea with lemon. If you're going to have your porridge with lemon. Oranges, if you can find oranges, try and eat those. If you are able to, drink vitamin D tablets, the supplements, or what are those other ones called? The ones that you dilute, the vitamin D ones that you dilute, because your body is just yearning for sunshine and it's yearning for light. And you can trick it by having more vitamin C and more vitamin D. So that just reminded me. Thank you very much, Koki. I wish I was like Mrs. M because she doesn't like chewing. Okay, so she's fine, right? She is well and fine because she can avoid a lot of things because she doesn't like chewing. Wow. If only if only I had that talent. Greetings there to Koki and Dineo, Mrs. M. I just have days where I just eat a lot, but it doesn't stem from being overwhelmed. Okay, I see, Dineo. Interesting. In the I'm in the background submitting my son's document for grade one. Oh, all the best in that, Mama the boys. That is a milestone. Congratulations to him, and all the best in those documents. Thank you, Dini. Yo, Mama the boys, you just reminded me. Milestones, milestones. Me, when I'm happy, I eat. When I'm sad, I eat. When I'm stressed, I eat. Hi, Sia. Definitely, definitely. You and me are in the same boat. You're welcome there, Mama the boys from Dineo. Greetings to Sia from everyone. Sino, let's do the right thing before they close. Yes, that is a gentle reminder to you there, Sino. Hello, Dre. Let's call it emotional stuffing. Maybe Dineo, because it is related to food somehow. Sia, greetings there from Mama the Boys. Okay. Aditi, hi, thank you for coming back. How are you doing? So you said you eat a lot in anxiety or when you're nervous. Yes, that is something that a lot of people do as well. What do you tend to go to? Do you tend to go to sweet foods or salty foods when you are feeling this way? Sia, greetings there from Poloko. My cousin who moved to Poland a few years ago says this. She felt depressed the first two winters because she wasn't used to how it's always dark and cold it was. Okay, I'll give her the pointers. By the way, you look alike, exactly alike. Sia, I think you've said this before in one of my lives. And please, if you have a picture of her and you don't mind sharing, I would love to see. I would love to see how she looks like. Yeah, that would be nice. And yes, yeah, it's very important that we understand our emotional cues. Sometimes it's not the situation around us. Sometimes we just need some sunshine, or we need to trick our bodies into feeling like we are in, a bright, sunny, tropical place. So that is good. Yeah, Sia Dre looks like your cousin. Yeah, she has said that before. Okay, Danielle is laughing there and Cookie is laughing. Okay, so let us move on to the next point. Thank you so much for joining the live. Please don't forget to like as you come in and also vote on the poll. Okay, so the next thing is there is a difference between physical hunger and emotional hunger. Hi, Ole. Thank you so much for dropping by. Thank you. I really appreciate it. So the physical hunger is obviously what we feel in our stomachs. Sometimes we'll get a growl. Sometimes our stomachs are a bit painful if you leave it for too long. And then the emotional eating comes with cravings. So, how you can differentiate from physical and emotional eating is that hunger, sorry, physical and emotional hunger. Your physical hunger comes gradually. So, at some point, you're going to know that, oh, I'm about to get hungry. Okay, I'm getting hungrier, and now I'm really hungry. I really need to eat now. And then with emotional hunger, it comes to you just like that. And the growl embarrassed me in a meeting yesterday, Janelle, because I didn't eat before the live and I had a meeting just after the live and the growl just came. But luckily, she just ignored it. Very embarrassing. So, yes, if your hunger is instant and you know exactly what you want to eat, the texture of what you want to eat, it is usually an emotional response to what you are thinking about. So, yes. Hi, Tatum. Oh no, what happened, Tatum? How are you doing? What happened? So today we are talking about emotional eating. And before we leave the live today, I promise I will show you my dog if she agrees. But yesterday you left early, and by the time I finished the live, you were gone and I couldn't show you. So, yes. Okay, so, okay, we've spoken about the differences. Now, if we feel like the type of emotional eating that we have is unhealthy, and only if we feel like it's unhealthy, then here are some of the steps that we can curb the emotional eating. But like I said, emotional eating, and I want to serve this as a reminder as well as we keep on going with the life. Emotional eating is not bad. It's not a bad thing to find comfort in eating. Ah, okay. What are you having for dinner? It's not a bad thing to find comfort in eating because that's one of the pleasures that we have in life. And when you are eating because you have a hunger, if you're eating because you're celebrating something or you're soothing yourself from sadness or from stress, sporadically, not all the time, there's nothing wrong with it. But if you find that you're in a constant emotional state, like what I said with winter, if you're feeling sad or you're feeling depressed throughout winter, and you're always going to be going for those foods that give you comfort, it's going to have a different response, not only to you physically, but also emotionally, because you're going to use food as your crutch. And usually, when you use something else to ignore, yes, I'm going to just put it plainly. If you use something else to ignore the situation or to ignore your feelings and your thoughts, though that situation is still going to be there next in the next morning, and you're going to use the food again, but the situation is still going to be there. So it's very important for that, it's very important for us to identify what the problem is, so we don't always use food as a coping mechanism. And that's where it becomes unhealthy. If your food is your constant coping mechanism, that's when it becomes unhealthy. What I'm getting so far is we should have a balance. Exactly. So with everything in life, you need a balance. You need certain things that you go through, that you go to as your pleasure point, right? For me, it's sweet things, baked goods. I've said this before. So that is my pleasure point. And I can have bread every day if I balance it with other things. And I can have sweet things every day if I balance it with other things. But we need to just always have balance, and we also need to know where it is coming from, what is triggering us. Yes, Poloko, you are right. Yes, I'm having hot dogs. Oh, nice. I haven't had hot dogs since I moved here because the ones here don't look appetizing at all. But in Zimbabwe, yeah. I don't have discipline when it comes to food. That's where the danger is. Mm-hmm. Lungi, but guess what? You are doing the 75 hard challenge now. And what it's going to teach you is you do actually have discipline when it comes to food. You have just been ignoring it and putting it at the back of your mind. So, yes. At the end of this challenge, you are going to be giving us a different testimony. I have so much discipline when it comes to food. But yes, it's a muscle. Discipline is a muscle, guys. Everything that you practice is a muscle. Kindness is a muscle. The more you use it, the more it's going to come naturally to you. Discipline is also a muscle. The more you do it, the more naturally it's going to come to you. Balance is also a muscle. It's not easy, but the more you do it, the more it comes easy to you. Yo, Tatum, please, I'm hungry. I'm sorry, Poloko, I'm the one who asked, but let me stop there. Me too, Lungstar. It's we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there, guys. We are going to get there. Sorry, I was on a call, then I decided to send you the picture. Okay, so yeah, I will see it after this live because I don't have notifications on my Instagram. I have the discipline, Kemina Lungi, when the right food is available. Nice, nice. I had to exercise that muscle. I didn't have that discipline before, but with years of commitment and knowing what certain things do to my body and what certain things do to my mind, I have created that discipline. And also, I don't restrict myself. That's one thing I always preach against because it doesn't work. Never restrict yourself. And so yes, now I have a very good balance with food. I love food, I enjoy food. And one thing I would always want to say to everyone: healthy food does not have to be boring. If your food is boring, you are not going to be able to balance and maintain that lifestyle. So try and make healthy replacements, try and reduce your portions, and your stomach will definitely adjust. So your stomach is like this, right? And the more you eat, it expands, so it allows you to eat more things. And then when you do portion control, it starts to shrink. So the more portion control you make, after time, you are going to be able to eat that portion. And that's just how it works. So it doesn't usually matter what you're eating, but what matters is the amount you're eating. So we can have a healthy balance, guys. It takes time, and at the end of the day, you will understand, as your body understands, what you like, what you can do, what you shouldn't do. And I have great news, guys. I have great news, but I wanted to do that in a different live. But yeah, I mentioned it in my vlog yesterday. I think I also mentioned it when I was working out yesterday as well. But I have finally gotten to the weight that I said I wanted to get to when I started losing weight again. And I discovered it yesterday. But I think I would dedicate a live to that tomorrow. So tomorrow is going to be Q&A, everything, growing muscle, losing weight, losing fat, whatever it is you want to ask, whilst I share the news. whilst I share the news because I'm excited. Lungi, you know where the danger is. That is where the danger is. You know where the danger. I had to look for that meme because that was so funny. What's everyone having for dinner? Tatum, we don't know because it is 11:45 a.m. where I am, and it's 10:45 a.m. where everyone else is. So I don't think anyone knows what they're having for dinner yet. See, no, I used to be so disciplined. You couldn't touch me. Then Wana Lungi fell. Then Ngawa. Okay, I read that wrong. I think Ngawa Lungi fell. But we are building back to that, Lungi. Yesterday, we're going to get there. Definitely, definitely, we are all going to get there. Well done, Sino. Self-control, yes. Lungi, you are me. Portions, yes. Yeah, Janelle, we are going to be celebrating tomorrow. We are going to be celebrating tomorrow. Thank you, Alice. Thank you so much. Is it the morning lives? Yes, because someone asked me the question. Yeah, I wasn't, it's not that I wanted to talk about it, but someone just asked me the question, so I just let it out there. Well, congrats, Trey. Let's eat a donut. I would love to. Let's see. Will I? Question. I don't want to eat it now because I'm in the middle of a challenge, but I also want to celebrate it because it's been a long time coming. So we will see. We will see tomorrow in the live if we are going to have a donut. Also, the time I go on live, I don't think the donut place will be open. We will see. We will see. I don't know what I missed. Akanya nearly broke the TV. Oh my goodness. Oh wow. You see, boys. Local boys will keep you on the toes. And also girls like me that were that were all over the place. So yes, I understand you fully, but I'm happy that he didn't break it. You said nearly, so I'm happy that he didn't. Askis Poloko, Otong Poloko, Askis, Alice. Lungi is laughing there with Alice. All right, so let's start with the work. How do we work around? Yes, I know, and you always come in and you say so. So I love that. And also the thing is, I understand how early it is for the lives, and I have to do it because I don't want to work out in the sun. But I always see like people replaying or coming to like and being in the background. So I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Akanya is a wanderer. He sure is. He sure is. Well, it's a lot of work. I am learning from you ladies, but I don't know. I don't know how I'm going to go about it, but you know what? God is going to help me. God is going to help me. So, how we put in the work. If you feel like your emotional eating has gotten to a place where it is too much, or you're using it as a crutch, or you're using it as a coping mechanism, then here is how you go about balancing it. Right. So the first thing is identifying your triggers. What are your triggers when it comes to overeating when you're in an emotional state? What are the triggers? For me, For me, it is stress or feeling overwhelmed. So usually during examination period, during maybe when we had like maybe auditing at work, that period, I am going to overeat. When I'm stressed emotionally, definitely I am going to eat. Like back then, relationship wise, like Pulugo said, I used to overeat. And I don't remember what else, but those two things are the things I can't control when it comes to emotional eating. or I couldn't control when it came to emotional eating. Now I'm much, much better over that. So Alice said stress and overthinking. Yes, we are in the same boat. So once we identify what the triggers are, the next thing we need to do is to find balance in the food and also try and look for other ways to cope with the stress or the overthinking. But these are the common causes of, or the common triggers and causes of emotional eating. We have stuffing emotions. So, as grown ups, there are certain things that, because we have so many responsibilities around us, we feel like we can't tackle them. And this happened to me when I lost my grandmother in 2000, I think it was 2021, 2020, 2021. It was COVID period, and I couldn't go home. And I literally, I whether consciously or subconsciously, I don't remember how it happened, but I stopped the grieving process. I cried when I heard the news. I cried maybe 2 days after that. And then I completely stopped the grieving process. And that's because I had school, I had work, and I didn't have people around me that could comfort me when I was thinking about it. And I was very close to I always speak about my grandmother, the one that I was living with in primary school. We were very close. So that I stopped it in its place, and I turned to, I think, wine at that time. I don't remember which alcohol I was into at that time, but I turned to wine, I turned to food, and literally stopped the grieving process. When I tell you the day I landed in Zimbabwe, that was in 2021, January. From that day to when I left, I think I left 3 to 4 weeks after that, I was crying every day. Every day. That's when I started the grieving process. Like for a month, every day I was crying. And that was because I had finally gotten to a place where the people around me understood what was going on. But they had gone through the grieving process. So they started to re-grieve with me because I couldn't control myself. I would like move around the house, think of something, I would eat something, think of her, and then I would start grieving. But I think another thing that helped me was my sister. My sister understood what I was going through, and she bought me a book. I don't know where that book went, but it's by a Zimbabwean author, and it talks about the grieving process and how grieving it still happens like here and there, but it gets better or you get more used to it. So that book, I read it on my way back, and I was still even crying on the plane because the book kept on triggering me and triggering me. But that is an example of me using food and wine to suppress my emotions. So this is a big part of emotional eating. We are stopping ourselves from being vulnerable, and we're stopping ourselves from being, what was I'm looking for the exact word, but self-reflection, exactly. We're stopping ourselves from being self-reflective because we know there are so many other things that are waiting for us. If we open that lever, we're not going to be able to close it, and those responsibilities are still going to be there. So that's one of the reasons why we stuff our emotions with food, because we're not ready to actually tackle the emotions that we're going through. Now I'm thinking about it. When I'm angry, I don't feel like eating, but in my head, I'm thinking just eat. So you can control some of the emotions. Oh no, sorry. So sorry, Dre. Thank you so much, Alice. Yeah. I don't know. I can't say that I don't know. I don't know. Uh, it comes in waves. Yeah. I think about it in waves. I think about it in songs. I think about it in food. I think about it in so many different ways. But I think it gets better because the waves are less and less now. Sorry, Dre. Thank you, Lungi. Thank you, Poloko. Thank you for the love, Lungi. Thank you so much. So, yes, that is one thing to consider as well. What are you trying to stuff down with the food because you don't want to tackle what you're going through? So that's one aspect we can look at. What are you trying to cover? What are you trying to put a plug in? What are you trying to put a clog in? And at some point, when you have addressed that particular emotion or that particular situation, you're going to find that that is not going to be a trigger for you to eat emotionally anymore. So, uh, the next thing is boredom or feelings of emptiness. And yeah, that happens. That happens most times. And with me, I think that I have switched from food in terms of boredom to keeping myself busy with. And one thing that YouTube has done as well, it has not given me time to even think of being bored. So I'm grateful for that. And then when I do have time, I put it to other things. So I think with boredom right now in most recent months, I haven't had to deal with it. But in previous months, I would maybe go for a walk, go for a picnic. I would look for an activity to do, read a book, watch a TV show. I would get engrossed in a TV show. And yeah, that was a better option for me at that time. And then, yeah, childhood habits. We have spoken about this before. With me, it was anytime there was a birthday, anytime there was a celebration, anytime there was something that needed a reward, we would turn to food. And that's why I'm saying that emotional eating is not bad. It's not bad at all because in our culture and in many cultures around the world, we use emotional eating as a way to celebrate. Not Yeah, it is emotional eating because we're happy. So how do we share that happiness? How do we share that love? How do we share how proud we are? We share food, we share drink. So that is a part of our culture. And then yes, the next thing is social influences. When we get together with people, there are some people who don't understand what goals we have. And I think that's something that would be interesting to talk about tomorrow when we're talking about this whole journey that we're on, especially with you guys that are doing the 75 hard. Because the first time I did it, it was more difficult for me because the people who were around me were not into it. And also, it was in summer where everyone just wanted to be out. So it was a bit difficult for me that time. So social influences can also influence how emotional you are with your eating. Maybe you are trying to eat the meat and the salad because you are on 75 hard, and some people guilt trip you into, oh, why are you eating that? That's rabbit food or something. Or you're not supposed to be drinking. I remember the time I was doing 75 hard, it's no alcohol at all. So even mocktails, because they had sugar, I couldn't drink those. And I remember everyone around me, oh, how can you be going out? And there was a wedding too. How can you be at a wedding and you're not drinking? I was like, please, I am trying to get to a goal. But yes, another way to find out what your triggers are, especially when the emotional eating is prolonged, is if you keep an emotional diary. So a lot of people have taken up journaling as well, I think, in the 75 soft. So Yes, it is. It is very essential. It teaches discipline. It also teaches you that some of the things you think you need, you don't need them, and you can regulate them. And if you have taken up journaling with 75 Soft, it means you can reassess your days. On day one, it was difficult for me because I couldn't eat this. I was craving this, and I wanted to eat this because I was feeling this way, but I didn't, and I couldn't. And other than that, or instead of that, I did this. So keeping an emotional diary helps you to regulate your emotions, to learn about your emotions, and to replace certain things if you feel that it's unhealthy for you. Like I said, I don't think emotional eating in general is unhealthy, but if you're getting to an unhealthy state with it, then once you know what your trigger is, once you know how you have tackled it in different ways, it will be easier for you to exercise that muscle in other things. And Sino, are you going live? Are you going live today? Please let me know. Okay, so hence this, yes, it is very essential. Hello, the rabbit food. I think tomorrow I will do a story time of how I got from my journey when I was trying to lose weight and here, because the amount of obstacles that I went through, only God helped me, because there's absolutely nothing that people didn't say. All right, so I will be done by that time, definitely. I started journaling from January, and I must say, boy oh boy, it really challenges you to dig deeper. Yes. And one thing that I love about a journal is that it's not gonna judge you. You can express every single thought, every single emotion that you are going through, and you can dig deeper and deeper, and it's not going to judge you. It's just going to reveal certain things that you have been trying to suppress. So yeah, suppression and repression only works for a short time, but you will see it surfacing in different aspects of your life. That's why we need to tackle things head on. It's the hardest thing to do, but I always give this analogy. When you sweep dirt under the rug, it doesn't mean the dirt is not there. It's just gonna accumulate. You're at some point you're going to need to really clean under that rug. So it's just a matter of time, and journaling helps that a lot. Hello, Dre is the half for me. You'll understand what I am saying tomorrow, because it was a hard journey. Lungi said journaling is hard, Haibo. It is. It is, but it really puts you to work, huh? It puts you to work with yourself, especially with your emotions, especially with me, it was definitely things that I swept under the rug, because I rediscovered why certain things trigger me. And some of them came from times when I was 5 or 6. And I forgot all about it. And I thought it was this situation that was triggering me, that happened recently, but it wasn't. It was what happened when I was 5 or 6 or 10 or 14 or 16. And yeah, I had to put in the work, but it helps. I'm sure, Lungi, you are going to have one big testimony after 75 days. I tell you that. Exactly, Dre is not going to judge you. Yeah, that's why I love it. And that's why I think therapy works as well, because you're talking to a stranger who doesn't know you from your community, doesn't know you from your church, doesn't know you from your workplace, doesn't even know what your mother or your father look like. So speaking to a stranger helps, because sometimes when you speak to your friend, because they know you, they can judge you, or a family member, they are speaking from their own background. But someone who's neutral, who's not going to judge you, that helps a lot. It is, Lungi, yeah. A lot of hard work. Give me zero. This one just asked me, how do you think anxiety has hindered your pursuit of goals, desires, and your vision of success? That is deep. That is deep, Lungi, because that is a deep one. I might just do a journal entry of that today, because when I think of the amount of things that I could have established throughout my years and I didn't, yo, yeah, that's a deep one. That is triggering, Lungi. We're talking about emotional eating here, and you're trying to trigger me into emotionally eating. Why? But yes, Lungi, that's a good one. I think I'm gonna deep dive into that. I'm going to deep dive into that maybe this weekend. Yeah, I'll take a screenshot and deep dive into that. Shu Lungi, that's a deep one. I avoid it because my husband will somehow read it. Journal on your phone, Paloko, on the phone, Lungstar? Yes, 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 yes. Paloko, what phone do you use? If you use an iPhone, there's a new inbuilt app, the journal app. But if you use a Samsung, I can recommend an app for you as well, a different journal app for Android. If you would like, I will send you a DM on Instagram. Maybe I should eat, man. It's 12 p.m. Oh, wow. Look, you know what? It's 12 p.m. somewhere, right? So hang in there. It's only how many minutes left? Only 53 minutes left, Puluko. It's just 53 minutes. We're going to be laughing on Sino's live or discussing something that's also going to distract you from that is going to distract you from the food. But if you've had your clove water, maybe it's going to kick in about 5 minutes. But yeah, that was that was so funny, Puluko. But I understand you, man. You see the thing with time, right? And I go through this the most when I'm fasting, like not intermittent fasting, but like spiritually fasting, Puluko. The times where I don't get hungry normally, that time when I say I'm going to fast the whole day I'm hungry. My stomach is rumbling. Everything is just going haywire. But yeah, anytime you set your mind to something, just so you're always going to have barriers, but we are champions. We are the winning team. So 52 minutes is nothing. It's nothing. Don't do it. It is a trap. Don't do it. Yes. It does. It moves so slow, so slow. All right, let me round up by saying, okay, so good morning, Lucy. How are you doing? Thank you so much for joining the live. We are just rounding up. We are going to Sino's house in like 5 minutes. So here are some alternatives to emotional eating. If you're feeling depressed or lonely, call someone who makes you feel better. Yeah, this works a lot for me. When I'm feeling angry, upset, depressed, lonely, whatever it is, I call someone and we laugh about it. We might not even talk about the situation actually. We laugh and then I'm over it. So calling usually helps. You can play with your children. If you have children, you can play with your pet. You can look for your favorite photo or memento or something like that. Just what are we eating by Sino's house? Let me not do that, Lucy, because the last time I did that, I put samosas on someone's table when there were no samosas on that person's table. So let me not. I am going to avoid that today. The second thing, if you're feeling anxious, expand your nervous energy by dancing to your favorite song or taking a walk. So dancing also helps. Singing, dancing, that also helps. Like especially with anxiety and worry, I literally sing songs that are not necessarily worship but praise. Like, you know, those songs that are saying thank you, those particular songs where it's like you've already gone through the test and now you're already testifying. Those are the songs that I sing. Like, I forget whatever situation I'm in and I'll be like, thank you. Oh, you have taken me through the water, you know, you've taken me through the storm. Those are the ones. Those are the ones that I go to. So it might not be dancing for me, but it is singing. And if you're exhausted, treat yourself to a hot cup of tea, take a bath, light some candles, or wrap yourself up in a blanket. That is perfect for you guys who are in winter. And if you're bored, you can read a good book, watch a comedy show, explore the outdoors, or turn to an activity you enjoy, like playing basketball. I love playing basketball, or any other activity that you like. So there are many alternatives that we can go to that can help us, especially when we are going through a stressful or overwhelming time. That can be a good alternative or replacement to emotional eating, especially when you can't control it. Remember, guys, everything that is in this life, we have dominion over. So nothing should control you, but you should control everything. Yes. So, Sino, you better make us laugh so I can forget about my hunger. Yes. Oh yes, straight. The pressure baton. I want to speak about serious things. Oh no. I remember the last time Sia was on live and she was like, Sido has topics. Like, Sido always has topics. And then we were like, and then we looked at it and you're like, I don't have a topic. But yes, guys, thank you so much for contributing to the conversation. Thank you so much for, sharing your innermost cravings with me and some of your triggers. And I hope this has helped. And overall, I just want to say balance. Balance is everything. Food is there to give us comfort and to give us pleasure, and it is a way of life. In fact, like, you cannot avoid food. We need food to be nourished. We need food to celebrate with our friends. We need food to celebrate good things. We need food to help us when we're feeling sad, when we're feeling low. We have soup, we have stew, we have, dumplings, potatoes, all of those comforting foods. They are supposed to be there to make us feel better. So let's just have balance, guys. Don't make it your coping mechanism, but make it something that helps you along with life. All right, so I am going to no, logo. I didn't actually have a topic, so I was very grateful. I was very, very grateful when you brought the topic because I was stretching my brain. What am I going to talk about? What am I going to talk about? So I was very grateful. Thank you so much. Lucy said, amen to that. We have dominion over food. Self-control is a fruit of the spirit. So I believe we can grow in it. Yes, we can. Your nails look gorgeous, by the way, Dre. Thank you, Lucy. Nails by Dre. At some point, maybe we are going to explore that business. Thank you so much. Local love there from Dineo. Okay, guys. I will be leaving in 10 seconds because we are moving on to Mushle. So please send in your buys quickly, 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 so we can go and see what Mushle has for us. Sino has for us. Sorry, Mushle. Sorry, Sino. But I'm going to be interchanging those names until I get it right. Okay, guys, send in your goodbyes, goodbyes, goodbyes. Goodbye, Danilo. Goodbye, Poloko. Yes. I'm just going to say goodbye to everyone that I know is in here. Goodbye, Lucy. Goodbye, Alice. Goodbye, Mama the Boys. Goodbye, Koketso. Lungi. Goodbye, Lungi. See you